What if I told you that your greatest desire, the one you've been chasing for years, is already yours? Not as a future possibility, but as a done deal, existing in a parallel reality that's just a millimeter away from yours. And the only thing keeping you from touching it, from living that reality right now, is a lie you were told. A lie so fundamental that it has shaped every failure and every frustration in your life. The truth is, you were taught to ask the universe, to visualize, to wait. But that's the programming of the prison. The universe doesn't respond to requests. It responds to a signal your body is emitting at this very moment. In this video, I'm not going to give you another visualization technique. I'm going to give you the key that turns off the lie and activates the right signal. And when you activate that signal, what you desire won't come to you. Your reality will collapse around it. But there is a warning. This knowledge, guarded by Thoth and the Hermetic masters, works on two levels. The first will shock you. The second will set you free. Stay with me until the end, because understanding only the first level without the second might leave you stuck in a state even worse than before. The choice is yours. If you feel this call is for you, comment right now, "I am the signal," and let's begin. You shall separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, gently and with great ingenuity. It rises from earth to heaven and descends again to earth and receives the power of the superior and the inferior. Thus, you will have the glory of the whole world. Therefore, all darkness will flee from you. You were taught to ask. But what if I told you that asking is the exact reason why you're not receiving? The real secret isn't in asking, but in transmitting a signal so clear that the universe has no choice but to respond. And that signal has nothing to do with your thoughts. It comes from a specific frequency, a vibration that most of us have been programmed since birth to never access. The signal the universe actually reads? It comes from a frequency. And most of us are broadcasting on the wrong frequency, the frequency of someday. This is the invisible programming running in the background of your mind, a software installed without your permission. Since childhood, we've been conditioned to constantly chase. Work hard to get it. Be good to deserve it. Wait for the right time. These ideas aren't harmless. They are the bricks of your mental prison, keeping your desires and your happiness perpetually in the future, always one step out of reach. This programming is so deep that it has become part of your nervous system. It dictates your automatic reactions, your emotions, and more importantly, your core vibration. You might even try to convince yourself that you're prosperous, but if your internal programming says, "Life is a struggle," every cell in your body vibrates with that hardship. That's why change feels so hard. You're fighting against years of conditioning that have become your identity, the story you tell about yourself without even realizing it. And here we face the biggest challenge, the feeling of being fake. When you try to act as if you already have what you want, an inner voice screams, "Who are you trying to fool? Look at your bank account. Look at your love life." That uncomfortable feeling is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. On the contrary. Ancient alchemy calls this phase nigredo, the dark night of the soul. It's the moment when lead, your old and heavy identity, resists its transmutation into gold, your new awakened identity. Feeling fake is proof that the alchemical fire is working. You're not lying to yourself. You're for the first time telling the truth about who you really are beneath the layers of conditioning. The falseness you feel is your old identity fighting to survive, trying to pull you back into the comfort zone of limitation. It's the ego afraid of losing control. The key is not to fight this feeling, but to understand it as a necessary symptom of transformation. It's the fever before the healing, the darkness before the dawn. The great alchemical work, the transmutation of being, doesn't happen with comfort. It requires you to hold a new truth, even when the external reality still reflects the old lie. It's an act of faith, not in an external God, but in your own ability to rewrite your reality from the inside out. It's an act of courage to be the gold, while everything around you still looks like lead. The persistence in this discomfort is what breaks the spell of the someday programming. Letting go of that programming is the first step. But how do you do that in practice when your bank statement and your reality are screaming the opposite? There is an alignment technique, a principle known by masters like Neville Goddard and Joe Dispenza, that turns this falseness into your new truth. And the first step to mastering this technique is understanding the most powerful force in the manifestation universe: coherence. Quantum coherence, the secret alignment between heart and mind. Coherence is the answer. This is where the game changes for good. The quantum field, the mirror of the universe, doesn't care about your desires, your goals, or your positive affirmations. It doesn't judge, analyze, or have preferences. It simply measures and reflects one single thing: your internal consistency. Coherence is the state where your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions stop fighting each other and start broadcasting one single, powerful message. It's the end of internal noise and the beginning of a clear signal. Think of practical, relatable examples that happen every day. You want love, but your body pulls away when you're complimented. Your heart closes to intimacy out of fear of being hurt again. You want wealth, but your stomach tightens when you pay a bill. Your mind repeats scarcity stories. That's incoherence. It's like trying to tune into 99.9 FM and 101.5 FM at the same time. The result? Pure noise, an energetic static the universe can't interpret, and by default, it just maintains the status quo. This concept isn't new. It's the practical application of the Hermetic principle of correspondence, immortalized in the phrase, "As above, so below, as below, so above." If your inner world, the sum of your emotions and beliefs, doesn't match your mental desire, the universe, as a perfect mirror, reflects that dissonance. Your external reality becomes a stage where your internal conflict is played out day after day. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Modern science is only just beginning to validate this ancient wisdom. The HeartMath Institute, for example, found that the electromagnetic field generated by the heart is up to 60 times more powerful in amplitude than the one generated by the brain. When your heart and brain enter into coherence, when your elevated feelings align with your thoughts, you become a coherent transmitter. You stop being a weak, flickering light bulb and become a magnetic lighthouse whose light reorganizes the quantum field around you. Thoth described the heart not as a blood pump, but as the portal to the soul, the true source of the vibration that can speak to the cosmos. Achieving coherence is like having a clear and direct line to the source of creation. Your energy stops being wasted on inner conflict and becomes focused, powerful, and magnetic. Things begin to flow, synchronicities appear. Life stops being a struggle and becomes a dance. You're no longer paddling against the current, you become the current itself. It's a state of quiet power where you don't have to force anything, because your very presence becomes attractive. Becoming coherent is like having a direct line to the quantum field. But our nervous system, trained by decades of stress and limitation, will fight against it. It'll try to pull you back into the noise, into the familiar drama of survival. However, there's a way to anchor this new frequency even on your worst days. A practical technique to teach your body to vibrate in harmony. And this technique is what separates amateurs from masters of manifestation. The reality of recalibration is brutal and liberating. You reach coherence, you meditate, you feel amazing, connected, invincible. And the next day you wake up with a cloud of doubt, anxiety, and old negative thoughts. Your first impulse is to think, "It didn't work, I failed." But that's not failure, it's recalibration. Imagine you spent years going to the gym and only training your left arm. One day you decide to train your right arm. The next day it's sore and weak. That doesn't mean the workout failed. It means the muscle is responding, adapting, growing. That's exactly what happens with your nervous system. It's a muscle trained for decades to vibrate at the frequency of lack, fear, and survival. When you introduce the frequency of abundance and trust, it goes into shock. The pain, the doubt, the discomfort are signs that recalibration is happening. Understanding this changes everything. You stop fighting the resistance and start seeing it as a marker of progress, a sign that you're expanding your ability to hold a new light. This is where the frequency anchor technique comes in. It's a simple but profoundly powerful tool. Every time doubt, fear, or an old pattern shows up, you reach a point of choice. Instead of being sucked into the whirlpool and spiraling downward, you stop. You breathe. And you ask, what would the version of me who already has this be thinking right now? How would they be feeling? What would be their next step? And then you act from that answer, even if it's just for 5 minutes. This is an act of conscious will, or thelema, a central concept that isn't about brute force, but about the focused and deliberate application of awareness to direct energy. These micro redirections are the key. Transformation doesn't happen in one big heroic leap, but in hundreds of small, consistent course corrections throughout the day. Each time you choose the response of your new identity over the reaction of the old one, you are literally building new neural pathways. Alchemy calls this solve et coagula, dissolve and coagulate on a micro level. With each conscious choice, you dissolve a bit of the lead of the old pattern and coagulate a bit of the gold of the new awareness. You are, in practice, teaching your body, cell by cell, that it is safe to live in a new frequency. You are training your nervous system so that abundance, peace, and trust become your new baseline, your new normal. At first, it takes conscious effort, but with repetition, it becomes automatic. The new frequency stops being something you have to activate and becomes simply who you are, the background music of your existence. Practicing this anchoring begins to clear your signal from all the static of the past. And when your signal becomes clear enough, the universe, a perfect feedback system, begins to send confirmations. Little signs, unexpected encounters, synchronicities. And one of the most powerful and most misunderstood of these signs is a numerical code that appears when you are about to cross a dimensional threshold. 777. The 777 sign the quantum field's confirmation that you've become an energetic match. Then the phenomenon begins. You look at the clock, 7:07, you grab a receipt. The total is $7.77. You see a license plate with those 3 digits. At first, you ignore it, call it a coincidence, but it keeps happening with a frequency that defies probability. A part of you, the part that's waking up, knows this is a message. The truth is, it's not you looking for the number. It's the number finding you. It shows up because your frequency has become compatible with it. This is where we need to demystify the true meaning of this sign. Shallow spirituality says that seeing 777 is a sign your desire is on the way. But that's still an interpretation that keeps you waiting in the frequency of someday. The deeper revelation is this: 777 isn't predicting the future. It's validating your present. It's the quantum field's confirmation that you've become an energetic match for the reality you desire. You're already there, vibrationally. The sign isn't a promise, it's an echo. The number 7 is sacred in nearly every esoteric tradition, especially in the Egyptian one from which Thoth originates. It represents spiritual perfection, the completion of a cycle, the mastery of mind over matter. When it appears tripled, 777, its power is amplified. It's the trinity of spiritual perfection, a code indicating that the 3 planes of your being, mental thoughts, astral emotions, and physical body actions, are finally aligning in coherence. You've stopped being a house divided, and here lies the great trap, the point where many stumble and fall. Most people see 777, celebrate, take a screenshot, post it on social media, and relax. They think, I made it, the universe heard me, and unconsciously stop doing the inner work. They drop the frequency anchor, fall back into old thought and reaction patterns, believing the magic will now do the rest. This is the biggest and most tragic mistake you can make at this crucial stage of the journey. The 777 sign is not the finish line, it's the entry gate. It's the universe saying, the portal is open, your frequency is the key, keep going. Relaxing at this moment is like a pilot turning off the plane's engines. The moment they see the runway, the crash is inevitable. The sign is a call to intensify your presence, to maintain coherence with even more dedication, because you're in a moment of extraordinary power. Seeing 777 is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of the real test. It's a sign that you're at a point of convergence between realities, a phenomenon modern quantum physics is only beginning to describe, but that the ancient masters knew as crossing the veils. What you do right now, with your attention and energy, determines whether you cross the portal into the new timeline or get pulled back into the gravity of your old reality. That portal the 777 sign reveals is not a poetic metaphor. It's a real phenomenon, and cutting-edge science, albeit reluctantly, is beginning to name it. Concepts like morphic resonance, proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake, suggest that there are fields of information that connect all beings, and that when you reach a certain vibration, you can tune in and download information from that field. Synchronicity, then, is no longer random. It becomes a data download from a reality you've come into resonance with. Let's simplify it even more with the concept of quantum tunneling. Think of your current reality as one room and your desired reality as another, separated by a wall that seems solid and impenetrable. Classical physics says you can't cross it, but quantum physics shows that a particle, if it vibrates with enough energy, can simply tunnel through the barrier and appear on the other side. The 777 sign is the universe's notification that your consciousness has reached the required frequency. The tunnel has opened. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth didn't use these terms, but he described the same process. He spoke of crossing the veils that separate dimensions, of traveling between worlds. He taught that it wasn't an act of brute force, but of tuning in, knowing the correct vibrational keys. The quantum tunneling of your consciousness is the modern version of using Thoth's keys to cross the veils of Isis, the illusion of separation. You don't break the wall, you vibrate through it. It's crucial to understand what happens at this point, the storm before the calm. As soon as the tunnel opens, your old reality panics. It's like an outdated operating system detecting the installation of a new one. It resists. That's why unexpected challenges may arise. Old patterns may intensify. People from your past may reappear. It's not the universe testing you. It's the structure of your old reality disintegrating to make room for the new. It's the noise of demolition before the construction of your new home. Many people get scared by this temporary chaos. They interpret it as a sign they're doing something wrong and pull back, abandoning the tunneling process halfway through. They return to the safety of the old room, not realizing they were just one step away from crossing. Holding your frequency through this storm is the most courageous act of the journey. It's staying in the dark tunnel, trusting that the light is on the other side, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Crossing this quantum tunnel requires more than just holding the frequency. It demands a complete transformation of identity. If you try to cross the portal carrying the baggage, beliefs, and fears of your old identity, the barrier becomes impenetrable. You don't fit in the tunnel. Fortunately, there is a precise alchemical technique for building an identity bridge, a way to shed the old self and step into the new, ensuring a safe crossing and avoiding self-sabotage. The identity bridge, the technique to avoid self-sabotage and accelerate transformation. Have you ever experienced this? Something wonderful happens, a door opens, and immediately a self-sabotaging impulse rises out of nowhere, an inexplicable urge to ruin it all. This is the upper limit problem. It's not a flaw in you. It's your internal thermostat, your old identity, feeling threatened by the new temperature of success and happiness. It tries to pull you back to the comfort zone of limitation, to the familiar drama it knows how to handle. Recognizing this not as failure, but as a mechanism, is the first step to disarming it. And here we arrive at the great revelation, the technique that delivers on the promise of the title, the identity bridge. Manifestation fails for most people because they try to make an impossible leap, from the broken self to the millionaire self, from the lonely self to the perfect relationship self. That leap is too big for the nervous system, which interprets it as a threat and triggers self-sabotage. The bridge technique consists of building steps. You don't leap, you walk. First, you become the person who is learning about money. Then, the person who is good at saving. Each identity is a safe step your system can accept. This is the central message of Thoth and the essence of the great work of alchemy. What you desire is already yours because the identity that has it already exists as a potential within you. Manifestation isn't about getting things, it's about becoming the person for whom those things are a natural and inevitable reality. The identity bridge is alchemy in action, the gradual and deliberate transmutation of the self. You don't magically leap into gold, you consciously move through the phases, from black, nigredo, the awareness of limitation, to white, albedo, purification and learning, to red, rubedo, mastery and the new identity. Each step of the bridge is a new identity you practice and embody. How does the person who is becoming financially aware dress? How do they speak? How do they make decisions? You live that identity until it becomes second nature. Then, and only then, you move to the next step. This gradual approach makes the transformation sustainable and organic. You don't shock the system. You train it, expand it, recalibrate it step by step, making change inevitable and permanent. You stop focusing on the final outcome and instead focus on becoming the next version of yourself. The beauty of this is that as you embody each intermediate identity, you naturally begin to attract the circumstances that match it. You're no longer chasing the butterfly of manifestation. You're tending to your inner garden and the butterflies come to you. You become the cause and reality becomes the effect. As you build these identity bridges, something magical happens. The struggle ends. The chasing stops, the anxiety dissolves, and a new emotion, much more powerful and stable than excitement, takes hold of you. It's a state of being that most people overlook, but it's actually the greatest accelerator of manifestation that exists. This supreme emotion that arises when the struggle ends is serenity. It's not the fleeting euphoria of achievement, but a deep, unshakable peace that whispers, "It's already done." It's the calm of someone who has planted the seeds, watered the soil, and now trusts the natural process of growth. Serenity is the vibrational signature of someone who knows their manifestation is not a matter of if, but only when, and even the when stops mattering. It is the state of grace of the master manifester. It's crucial to understand that this serenity is not passivity. It's not sitting and waiting. It's an active state of allowing. It's the strength not to interfere, not to doubt, not to dig up the seed every 5 minutes to see if it's sprouting. Thoth, in his teachings, emphasizes that true mastery comes from alignment with universal law, not from struggling against it. Serenity is the signal that you've stopped fighting and aligned with the flow of the cosmos, trusting completely in the principle of gender, which states that everything has its own perfect gestation period. Here lies the great paradox of detachment, which confuses so many. The less you need something to happen, the faster and easier it happens. This is not a cosmic trick, it's pure energetic physics. The energy of needing, of desperately wanting, is a vibration of lack. You're shouting to the universe, "I don't have this," and the universe, like a loyal servant, ensures you continue not having it. Serenity, on the other hand, vibrates at the frequency of ownership, certainty, and wholeness. It says, "I already am this," and the universe rushes to mirror that truth. Serenity is the universal solvent that dissolves resistance. When you're in a state of peace and trust, your energy field expands. You become more receptive. The universe can then deliver your desires in ways your limited mind could never have imagined. Need and control create a narrow funnel for manifestation, while serenity opens an infinite portal of possibilities. Often, what arrives is even better than what you asked for, because you weren't limiting the field with rigid expectations. This state of allowing is the pinnacle of conscious manifestation. It's the point where you become a partner with the universe instead of a dictator. You set the intention, align your vibration, and then let go, allowing the infinite intelligence of the cosmos to orchestrate the details. It's a dance of mutual trust. You trust the universe, and the universe trusts that you're ready to receive. Reaching this state of serenity is the peak of conscious manifestation. But how do you apply it in the real world? How do you turn it from a concept into a daily practice, especially when chaos knocks at your door? The secret lies in a practice we call quantum reality rehearsal, something you're actually doing at this very moment without even realizing it. Quantum reality rehearsal. You're not consuming content, you're collapsing potential. Now, the big revelation about what we're doing here. This video, this journey we're walking together, is not just content. It's not passive information being transferred to your mind. It's a rehearsal field. It's a vibrational gym. Every part that resonated with you, every moment your breath shifted, every goosebump you felt, that was rehearsal. You weren't just learning about a new frequency. You were, for a few moments, living in it. You were collapsing potential into form. This is where we consciously activate the first Hermetic principle, the principle of mentalism, which says, the all is mind, the universe is mental. Your attention is the most valuable currency in the cosmos. Where you place it, energy flows and reality manifests. By focusing your mind and your energy on this transmission, you stopped being a passive spectator and became an active co-creator of this experience. Your focused attention and emotional resonance are, right now, shaping the quantum field. Think about it. The person who started watching this video is not the same person who is here now. Something has changed. A seed has been planted. A new possibility has been introduced into your field of awareness. You might not see the change on the outside yet, but the inner transformation has already begun. You're no longer waiting for the quantum shift. By participating in this rehearsal, you became the quantum shift. You proved to yourself that you can access these frequencies. This is the power of mental and vibrational rehearsal. Elite athletes do it all the time. They rehearse victory in their minds so many times that, when competition comes, their bodies simply execute a program that's already been installed. We're doing the same, but on a much deeper level. We're rehearsing the identity of our future self, feeling what they feel, thinking how they think, until that new identity becomes more real and familiar than the old one. Every time you allow yourself to feel the serenity, the confidence, or the gratitude that your future self would feel, you're sending a powerful signal to the universe. You're saying, I'm no longer waiting, I'm ready now, I am this now. And the universe, which responds to vibration and not to words, begins to move heaven and earth to match that new signal. The rehearsal is not fantasy, it's a clear instruction sent to the quantum field. Now we arrive at the final secret, the crown jewel of Hermetic and quantum wisdom. The observer effect in physics states that the simple act of observing a particle changes its behavior, but what they didn't tell you is that this applies exponentially to your own consciousness. The mental matrix wants you to be the actor in the drama of your life, reacting, suffering, struggling. The secret is to step off the stage and sit in the director's chair. You become the silent observer. The supreme observer effect technique isn't about watching the world so it changes. It's about observing yourself already being the person who lives the new reality, without judgment and with total acceptance. It's witnessing your own transformation in real time. When a doubt-filled thought arises, you don't fight it. As the observer, you simply notice it and let it pass, like a cloud in the sky. When you act with confidence, you watch yourself acting with confidence. You become the impartial witness of your own divinity in action. Thoth refers to this as becoming the master of your own temple. The observer is the pure consciousness at the center of your being, which, through focused and detached attention, directs creation. It's the eye of Horus turned inward, the observer who heals, unifies, and commands reality. By identifying with the observer and not with the thoughts or emotions being observed, you free yourself from the prison of the mind. You stop being the effect and become the prime cause of your experience. When you observe yourself acting from serenity, confidence, and abundance, you're collapsing that version of yourself into physical reality permanently. It's like fixing an image onto photographic paper. Conscious, detached observation is the light that makes the image permanent. You stop trying to make the manifestation happen and instead simply watch it unfold, knowing that your focused observation is the engine of creation itself. And here, finally, we connect all the dots into a powerful synthesis. Visualization plants the seed of intention. Coherence between heart and mind amplifies the signal. 777 confirms the portal is open. Serenity dissolves resistance and allows the flow. And finally, the supreme observer effect crystallizes the new reality, making it your physical, solid, undeniable experience. This is the complete process of creation, from thought to form. The journey doesn't end here, it begins now. Your task is no longer to seek, but to be and observe. Observe yourself today. Catch yourself in the act of being your future self. This is the true meaning of Thoth's message. What you desire is already yours, because the version of you who possesses it already exists in the quantum field. Now you simply observe it with love and certainty until it becomes the only reality you never know. You're no longer waiting for a sign. You have become the sign. If you've made it this far, leave a comment. I crossed the portal. I want to see who truly stayed until the end and is living this transformation. And if you want to support the channel more directly, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute and help create more content like this. Any support means a lot to me and to the growth of this channel. But just the fact that you made it to the end of the video already helps immensely, and you can also share it with someone who needs to hear this message. And don't leave just yet. I've selected a special video for you. It's on the screen now. Click it, and I'll meet you there.